Okay, back with another video, people. First, I just want to say again, I'm not being sponsored by any company in particular. I'm doing an overview slash review. I am just going to be going over some of the features of the Zotac Gaming Twin Edge OC. They do make a white version and they do make a halo version. This is just the Twin Edge OC edition. In my last video, I had said that I looked at the card as far as what it looks like, and I really didn't like the shape of it until I started doing a little more looking into it. So we're going to do a little unboxing here. Hopefully this comes out of here easy. Actually, I'm starting to get the idea. These things are packed so tight in there. Bad looking box. Comes in its NVIDIA style black cover. Kind of that look like the reference cards come. Okay, and as far as what we have in here, I guess this might be get amplified. Looks like it probably has some decals in there. It's not a disc. I would say an information pamphlet. Okay, throw this stuff out of the way. Ugh, what are these? We don't really use them anymore, do we? Somebody might, if you have a different... Oh, they didn't really pack it in there. They didn't even put tape on it. All right, I'm gonna put this aside for a second first and look under here. And there's nada. Okay. Ugh, out of the way. All right. So what we have, the Zotac. Wow. And I can understand right off the bat what their method of thinking was. First off, we have what appears to be, I would imagine, a 100 millimeter. And I'm gonna, yes, a 100. I'm gonna think, and I would have to say that's more like an 80. It's small. The other ones had a 100 and like a 90. But anyways, I can see their method of thinking on the card. It's a short card and it's thin. So they were looking, the reason it's so wide is they were probably looking at making this card to fit in 2 bays. So they put it on a PCB, made it wider and thinner. So I get it. That's not a bad idea. Again, with the typical new chromed out tinted look to the back. Plastic shroud. Definitely a metal back plate. And 2 8-pin connectors which recede into the back of the panel, which is kind of a good idea. You can hide some of that wiring, those 8 pins that stick out, so that's not bad. I can see there's no protection on that came with the card. I don't know if it's a budget thing. Looks like something that came off of the hood of a Toyota. Wow. Live to game. Anyways, the specs on this card aren't shabby. PCI Express 16, manufacturer NVIDIA. It's got a 1755 clock. Of course, it's got 5888 CUDA cores, all 3070s pretty much there with the 14 gigabytes of memory clock, 8 gigs of RAM, 256-bit, DDR6, DirectX 12, OpenGL 4.6, multi-monitor again for this one. Does have, wow, they didn't even put, I wonder if it's just this one. I'll have to check the other box I have. Anyways, one HDMI, 3 display ports. The HDMI is 2.1, the display port is a 1.4. The maximum resolution, again, is 7680 by 4320 at 60 hertz. No SLI. I think the only ones I've seen so far that do the SLI, maybe some of the, I don't know if the FE 3080s have them, but I know the 3090s do. It says here the operating system is supported by Windows 10 64-bit 204 and later. So I don't know, to be honest with you. You're telling me that this won't run on Windows 8 or 7 or even 32? I don't know. I better look into that one. Okay, the thermal design power is 220 watts. The thermal design power is basically the amount of heat that it puts out. Recommended power supply. This one is 650. It's weird because the MSI wants 750, the same. Basically, it's other than that, it's a three fan, but it's a monster. I love that MSI. And the other one I did by Asus said 650, and MSI is 750. So yeah, they're all a little bit different. 2 8-pin power connectors, and of course HDCP ready. 2.3 other features such as second gen ray tracing. As anybody that's really looked into ray tracing knows, the first generation wasn't all that great. Just like the DLSS, that was kind of a, NVIDIA had kind of a meltdown over that one. It has a little bit of LED in on it. It's white. The other one, the Halo version, has more of that in here. It has more of that rainbow and or runway or whatever you can set it at. Zotac comes with its own software for that, which we can look at. The card really isn't that big. It's wide, short but wide, 9.10 long by 5.60. Dual slot. Yeah, there we go. So that's what they were looking at. They really made a lower profile. So that's going to come in handy for a lot of people with smaller cases. And I've noticed that a lot of people are getting away from the bigger cases. They're starting to get with the smaller compact ones, which is kind of cool. I know NZXT's making one, and I think Corsair, Cooler Master, I was looking at one the other day. And I watched Steve light one on fire with the it was because of something to do with the running a vertical bracket that wasn't drilled out correctly, and the screw was touching the PCB, which has copper in between it, and when you put metal to copper with electricity running through it, you basically get a fire. Yeah, so I don't think they'll ever probably make a water block to cool this, but I can't imagine it being too hard. You can see it looks like it's got, yes it does, 2 on each side, heat pipes. The aluminum fins. And I don't know if they'll ever be making a anything for this that's going to be water cooled. I haven't had a chance to test it, but from what I've seen, this thing really does perform well in games. It's a very stable card. A lot of people shy away from Zotac for some reason. I've noticed that. And it may be the name. It may be because maybe they're newer to the game than EVGA and ASUS. They don't have the big name, but they really do make some decent stuff. I think they went a little sci-fi on us with this card as far as the looks go, but I can get where they're coming from. They wanted to make something that was a little more streamlined and thinner to fit into a smaller case. And obviously there's nothing on here for SLI. The back bracket, you would not need a support bracket for this at all. Not like with the MSI. The MSI you definitely would have to have one. This one, not at all. The card doesn't weigh 2 pounds, I don't think. I doubt it. The fans spin in opposite directions. The fan pulls in, I think, I forgot what it was. I think it was something close to like 16% of the year. The fan blowing out pulls out like 67% or something. So the fan blowing out is the smaller fan. It pulls a lot of air up through the radiators here, the aluminum ventilation setup here. Another one where it's really tight. They're very fine aluminum plates in there. So yes, this is the card. I've got a lot of games I've got to run, a lot of benchmarks to do on some of these cards that I have. And I've just had so much going on. I really haven't had a chance to do that. That's why I just wanted to give an overview on these cards. Give everybody a chance to look at them. A little bit of information for you. But yeah, it's not a bad little setup. Like I said, I'm not that fond of the shape. I probably would have, for myself, I would have liked to seen something even a little more square, but that's just my, just the way I like to see things. I mean, I'm not speaking for anyone else. This isn't aluminum. This is just bent sheet metal. It's not cheesy, but they definitely stayed within. I wouldn't even really call it like a low budget. Everything, all the 30 series cards are expensive. It's just, you can't get away from that. It's just the way things are now, and it's probably the way it's going to be. But graphic cards for a long time are going to be up there in price, even the Zotacs. So on that note, I am going to be, I've got to upload this, get it ready, and I don't know if I'm going to put it out there. Well, if you're seeing this now, maybe in a few days it'll go out. I've still got a couple of motherboards I got to do. And I've got that 3060 MSI Gaming Trio. That's a really nice 3060 Ti. It's a nice card. It's actually virtually identical to the 3070 I have in my machine right now. I do have 68, 69 coming in, the AMD, and I was looking at getting a 3090 FE. Probably going to do an overview / review on one of them. It's a big card. It's a monster, actually. Comes with a big price tag too. I don't know if too many people are buying those cards. But anyways, calling it a day, everybody. Have a good one. Stay safe.